Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel, and this time of year is absolutely terrible for Call of Duty fans. I mean, the current game is old and boring, the older games are now hacked and are a straight up security risk for you to actually play. We're months away from official reveals of the next game. We don't have a ton of leaks or rumors to go off of right now either, and for players who are still playing the current game, they are starved for new updates or things to do because progression has essentially been extinguished in the COD series to make room for store bundles. But we do finally have some interesting bits of news to cover, and that's the focus of this video here today. These stories are going to shape the future of the Call of Duty series as we know it, though their effects won't be seen immediately. But before we get into that, I would like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor. This video is being brought to you by Ridge. You guys have heard me talk about them before. They are the makers of the finest key cases, wallets, and even rings out there. I personally have been using Ridge products for about a year now. They're incredibly well put together, so this Father's Day, why not get your dad something new, something he's going to carry with him every single day. Over at ridge.com/Nero, you're going to find over 30 different kinds of wallet styles, key cases, and rings to choose from. There's basically something for every kind of dad out there, from the tobacco brown leather design to the base camp orange, or even the Palm Oasis if you're feeling fancy. With so many different designs and products, you're bound to find something nice and change up your dad's everyday carry. So once again, head on over to ridge.com/Nero to get started, where now through June 15th, you're going to save up to 40% as part of their Father's Day promotion. So again, ridge.com/Nero, all products on Ridge have a lifetime warranty and a free 99-day test drive. There's no risk. These are high quality products I use every single day. Ridge.com/Nero, and I would like to thank Ridge once again for sponsoring this video. Alright, so it looks like Call of Duty and Activision have realized they messed up. Warzone 2 was a massive betting chip for the company, where for some reason they took out a lot of what made Warzone beloved and for some people good in the first place. Then they replaced a lot of those features with basically nothing besides shop bundles. Like Warzone 2 for a lot of fans, and look, I'm not a big Warzone guy, I can't speak on this intelligently, but I can say just from my experience and the general vibe I get online, it seems like Warzone 2 is almost worse than Warzone 1 in almost every conceivable way. The player base has been dwindling a ton, and in reaction to that, Activision is planning to release Vondel, I think that's how you pronounce it, which is going to be a new Resurgence Warzone map that is going to take place in the Netherlands. And then eventually, apparently, it's going to have full Battle Royale support as well in the future. It's going to launch as Resurgence, but then be a full BR map later on somehow. I don't know how they're going to pull that off, but the map was actually leaked via Beatport, where Dutch DJ Oliver Heldens, I'm good with names, aren't I? He posted this cover art here, right? And this shows not only part of the map, but what's also interesting is the logo in the bottom right. I mean, not only here is the Call of Duty logo different than how it's always been, here's going to be a before and after, but the Warzone logo does not feature 2.0 anymore. It appears that Activision Blizzard are removing the 2.0 from Warzone's name in the near future because it just simply isn't as popular as they thought that it would be. They thought that Warzone 2 was going to be massive, the best thing since sliced bread or whatever, but no, it's been a pretty massive flop compared to what they thought it was going to be, right? And a good way to compare this is how YouTubers like myself will sometimes change their title or maybe their thumbnail of a video if that video is super underperforming. It's no secret that the title and the thumbnail are like 80% of the reason why people click on videos. I mean, if you don't believe me, just ask virtually any YouTuber out there where their views come from. For me personally, only like 30% of my monthly views are from subs and sub boxes. The other like 70% are from the recommended tab and related videos. So without a fancy title and a fancy thumbnail to get people excited, people aren't going to click, right? And I think Activision's thought process is something similar to that. Warzone is Warzone. Nobody calls it Warzone 2.0. By eliminating 2.0 from its name, they are now free to do all sorts of promotions and really bank in on the search engine optimization of the Warzone brand. So it will make things confusing for some players out there. If they're talking about Warzone, you're like, well, which Warzone? Are we talking about Verdansk, Rebirth Island, Caldera, Al Mazrah, Vondel, all the other ones? Like, it can be confusing for sure, but that's how it's always going to be. And similar to how Fortnite, even though it's had all these chapters and seasons and stuff, Fortnite has always just been Fortnite, and Warzone finally is now just going to be Warzone. Allegedly. Now, the next story here is something that I've been sitting on for a while because I read this a couple of days ago and I hoped there would be a new update, right? Because the initial story wasn't that insane, but we haven't really got too many updates, but I still want to cover it here today. So, taking a look at Charlie Intel's tweet here, Bloomberg has reported that Microsoft's president, Brad Smith, is meeting with the United Kingdom's Chancellor and the CMA next week. That's the Competition and Markets Authority over there in the UK. Bloomberg is also reporting that Microsoft is exploring options to ignore the UK block of the Activision merger and close the deal, including potentially removing Activision and its games from the United Kingdom. Can you believe that ever actually happening? That seems so outlandish. I cannot imagine that would ever happen. But just for the sake of argument, picture a world where buying Activision Blizzard games in the United Kingdom, which is a country with an estimated population of almost 70 million people, would be no longer possible. That just doesn't make any sense. There's no way that Microsoft and Activision would want to do that. I think this is more or less a scare tactic because for some reason, the United Kingdom is the only country in the world, pretty much the only one I'm aware of here, like 30 other countries, over 30 countries have approved this, but the United Kingdom's like, nah. Now, an interesting statistic that has come out, and mind you, this is coming from Microsoft, so take it with a grain of salt here, but apparently roughly 70% of the UK's gaming market is actually taken up by Sony. And I know it's not fair to assign blame or intent when there's no real evidence, but I'm just saying, if that's true, if 70% of the UK's gaming market is like Sony and PlayStation, and they are the only country in the world they're trying to stop Microsoft from merging with Activision Blizzard, well, maybe, just maybe, Big Sony got to some of the folks over there at the United Kingdom's Competition and Markets Authority. Maybe they had a meeting, and then some of the higher-ups at Sony started handing out some PlayStation Store cards, and now suddenly the United Kingdom doesn't want Microsoft to take over Activision Blizzard. I don't know. I'm just saying it's really weird that they are so strongly against this acquisition because they're seemingly the only country that is outright opposed to it. But going back to the tweet here, Microsoft's president is set to meet with the UK's CMA and their chancellor next week, so maybe things are going to change. Maybe Brad can bribe them with some Microsoft points and give them a bunch of the old unused Xbox One Connects, and this merger can then finally take place. And then after that, hopefully, Microsoft can begin to implement the changes to the Call of Duty series that they promised back when all of this stuff first started happening. The idea of removing exclusivity and same-day content parity for all and bringing it to more platforms than ever before. That all sounds fantastic. I would love to see some direction, some movement for the COD series, and I really do think that that will actually start happening when Microsoft takes over, because if you look at how Activision has been just on their own over the past couple of years, it's just been terrible. Nothing good has really happened so far, right? Only occasionally a couple good things come out, but most of it's just complete shit, right? So Microsoft taking over, having new leadership, a new direction. Microsoft isn't trying to buy these guys just because they want to like basically think of Call of Duty as passive income, which it will be. I think they want to take the COD brand and take it to new levels because Call of Duty is one of the biggest video game icons out there, yet Activision has just been letting it fucking die recently. Maybe that's just me being a little bit cynical, but it really seems like they do not care about the actual COD multiplayer anymore. It's all about Warzone. You guys know I've talked about this forever, right? I may be high on copium right now, but I'm really, really hoping that when Microsoft takes over, that they actually want COD to grow again as compared to being stagnant or even, dwindling down like it has been in recent years. So we're gonna have to wait and see how things are gonna play out. As always, I'll do my best to keep you guys posted as we learn more and as these stories develop. But for right now, that's it for this video here today. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.